Good morning, world, from very, very cold and wintry England today. We're on a little walk called Flitch Way. It's 5 degrees, but for some reason 5 degrees in England feels a lot colder than it did when we were in Portugal and we had those morning temperatures. My toes feel like they're getting frostbite. Nothing's working as it should, but at least the sun is shining. Discovered anything? Go for it. We're getting no complaints out of Story today though. Sasha and I have both been commenting on how Eden seems to be full of life here. She's really been enjoying her walks and generally being outdoors even though it's freezing. Hey Story! You gonna catch your sister? Look, she's wrangled you. Good girl. Give her a good cuddle.
Can I give him a cuddle?
Yes please. Love Eden.
Can I give him a cuddle?
Okay. Being back in England for a few weeks now, it's definitely triggered the senses in ways that it didn't before. There are things that I'm noticing that never really registered when we were here permanently. And a lot of the things that I've noticed are only silly little things, but I thought I'd write a list down so we could talk about why doing a bit of travel makes you see the world in a different way. We're just walking through this quaint little town here. It's called STEBBING. And if you look on the roofs of every single house, you'll notice that there's a chimney on each one. But when you actually go inside these houses, you'll notice that no one's actually using them. You barely ever see smoke coming from chimneys here. And when you look at the price of how much it costs to buy logs here, you can see why it's not an economical way to do heating in the UK anymore. Perhaps in an area like this, if you were to go inside the houses, the fires would actually be usable. What do you think, Sash?
I think in the more rural properties in villages and little English towns, people would have a log fire.
Yeah.
But probably not in a more residential area.
Also, it'd be a luxury, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, it is very pretty. The homes around here definitely have some character. At both my mum's house in London and in Sasha's dad's house in Essex, both of the chimney stacks inside the homes have been completely bricked over, so the chimneys on top are just for show now. I love the fact that outside the cities, a lot of the homes have kept their English character, haven't they? Especially the ones that are next to churches. Every town seems to have a church in it as well, have you noticed?
That was a sign, wasn't it? The bigger the church in your town, the more prosperous your town was.
Yeah, I think that was the truth, wasn't it? Yeah. Now the other day we were driving through this town and some deer jumped out in front of us, didn't they, Sash? So we're going to see if we can spot any more. Show Story.
They're wild deer.
Look at them over there. We just about managed to find some that were really far away.
I'm shocked. Oh, in here because I can't see.
I know, it's hard to see them, isn't it? They're really far away.
Yeah, I can see.
How many are there?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow.
I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's good counting.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Happy we managed to see the deer though, Story. We delivered on our promise, didn't we?
I don't know you go down.
Yeah, I came outside. I wanted to see if I could film the deer, but they ran away from me.
You're scared for me.
They are, yeah. It's beautiful out here though. Look at that lovely sky. That's right, it's an aeroplane cloud, well done.
Daddy, I'm looking at the reindeer.
Yeah, so am I.
Bit more. Bye-bye. See you soon.
I've just stopped to bring Story to a local playground. More beautiful homes here. That's cool.
Should we go on the swing? I'll go on the swing. Okay. Yay!
One thing I've noticed since we've been out and about is when you meet people around England, it's actually quite rare for people to say hello and thank you, isn't it? More people say alright and cheers. I'm not entirely sure if that's more of a London and Essex thing, but definitely the whole time we've been here, I don't think I've said hello to somebody once. It's just too formal sounding.
Faster.
Daredevil.
Faster. That's a good idea if you come with me.
Okay, I'll come with you.
That is a really tall slide. This is going to be the biggest slide you've ever been on, Story. Goodness me. What's that, about 3 meters high? Whoa. Brave girl. Whee! Oh, anticlimax. That was really tame.
Mum was too big. I really wedged in here, look.
Speaking of the height in meters, that's another weird thing about England. We never fully committed to the metric system. All of our roads are in miles, but when we do measurements, we do them in grams and kilograms, so it's not quite right. Go faster, faster! Was that fun? Show us how it's done. I actually remember when I was a kid, all of my dad's tools were done in imperial sockets with inches and quarter inches, and then when I was old enough to buy tools, they were in millimeters. So you can definitely see there was a changeover. It's another beautiful sunny day here in England. We're in London now, going for a little dog walk with Eden. It's very calm and quiet out.
Good ones?
No, new ones.
As we've been driving around here in England, one thing popped into my head that one of my American friends said. He asked, why is your channel called 8 miles from home when you use kilometres? And it is silly really, because it's something that I've never really been forced to think about, but I do think of distance in metres, and yet our roads are measured in miles. And we have the yard measurement which goes into a mile, but I don't know really what a yard is, I don't know how far it is. I would say that 1 mile was 1600 metres. So that goes together again with what I said earlier about how we never fully committed to the metric system. England is weird.
I've always done kilos for weight and height and feet and inches for height.
But do you remember when we were younger, we used to use the stone measurement?
Yeah.
We would say, oh, I was like 10 stone and 1 pound. So growing up, we always just thought stones were a measurement that everybody used. And it turns out it was like this ancient trading thing where 1 stone equaled 14 pounds. So when I tell my friends from Europe and from America this, they're like, what on earth have you been doing in England all these years?
One up there, it's too big.
I actually read that it's illegal for them to use the stone measurement now for commercial purposes. So the only reason why anybody in England will ever tell you how much they weigh in stone is just for old traditional purposes. That's it. Luckily we have moved on to the metric system for weight though. But I would still say I was 5'10" and you would say you were 5'2", isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's how tall we are, how much we weigh.
8, 9, 10. No, here we come. There you are.
Here I am, you found me. Ready or not, here I come. What are the stories? And here's a few more weird and wonderful observations we've seen since we've come back to England that we never used to think of before until now. I think it's the only country in the world where we hang our bathroom light switches from a string in the ceiling. Nowhere else have we travelled to see that. I just thought it was something that would be everywhere, and yet it's not. It's only in England from what I know. Another England oddity is that all of our electrical plug sockets seem to have switches on them for some reason. I mean, they don't need to be there. If you plug it in, it's on, and if you take it out, it's off in every other country. But here we have these little switches to determine whether the plug is on or off. And one more super weird thing that is kind of dying out now in the UK is having separate hot and cold taps in the bathroom. So you can only have burning hot water or freezing cold water coming out at once. or you have to mix it together in the sink to get your warm water to use on your face. Obviously mixer taps are available to buy, but most of the old houses that I've ever lived in have come with 2 old taps, and it really is just a silly system. So that concludes our little roundup of oddities in England, strange things we've noticed. After living abroad for so many years, you really do see these things in a different light. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. There'll be another England video coming up where we go to Devon, and then we're off to Thailand, so big adventures ahead. Hit the thumbs up button for us, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time. Bye!
9, 10, 9, 1.
Here I am!